everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm here once again with Fatty, and I'm going to continue to tell you dating stories from my journals. This has been a process for myself because I think it's really important to go through, process anything that's been unprocessed, forgive anything, forgive yourself, forgive other people, etc., and gain insights. So I hope you're enjoying them or getting something out of them. Or maybe you're just watching Fatty. Maybe there's a whole kitty cat porn ring out there that likes to watch her bathing herself. She's drooling right now. Anyways, sorry. So we are going to go back to, this is like the fall of 2001. So what the hell? I am 23 at the time. Wow. It's funny when you get old and just, start to get your mom's brain. So I am 22 turning 23. So I'm 22. I'm in grad school. I was surprised, I have to say, going back, because I always, in a way, thought I was more wholesome or something, committed than I actually was. But I just had like guy flow into guy, relationship flow into relationship. I didn't totally realize how close together they were and how there was like some juggling and stuff like that. I always thought things were much, much more clear cut. And I can't even imagine that today. Dating one guy and then kind of trailing off and dating another and then kind of going out and meeting some other dude. I can't imagine that. It's so exhausting. Like in my journals, I'm so hard on myself, which I don't think I should be because I'm 22 and I'm kind of screaming through the pages being like, just relax. But I'm also wondering how I ever got that graduate degree because it feels like I'm just like doing so many things. I don't remember having that amount of energy. I can't relate to it anymore. It's like reading about a completely different person. But anyways, okay, so it's fall of 2001. I'm dating this dude. I dated this guy the whole summer that I was crazy about. And I'm also, that's the other thing too. My emotions in these journals are like off the charts. It's like, dude, why are you so into like everybody? It's ridiculous. Now I'm so closed. Now for somebody to catch my attention is such a thing. And I'm not speaking from a place of ego. I'm speaking from a place of like old cat lady where I don't, maybe once a year, I'm not even joking, maybe once or twice a year, there's somebody that like I kind of am actually interested in going on a date with. So it's just so different from my 20s where I was meeting so many people and I was interested in so many people. So anywho, I'm dating this guy, and I'm crazy about him, but he's not really committing. He had his own problems with depression. He had tried to commit suicide like a couple years before. He said that he just like doesn't feel things anymore. So it wasn't really ripe for anything to happen anyways. And I was planning on going to grad school in London anyways. So I moved from Kitchener. The relationship didn't formally end, but I moved to London. And then another ex comes into my life. I'll call him the professor. The first guy I'll call biracial because he was two races. He was halvesies. Wow, I hope these videos aren't offending anybody. Okay, so the professor comes back into my life. The professor is somebody that I never fully got over, and I don't mean in the sense of I have an attraction for him or I love him. It's just like this missing. Like, when you just connect with somebody and it's such a rare connection in terms of like just some area you have in common. With him, it was like a sense of humor and an intellectual wit. And that stuff's really hard to find. So I was really sad that the things didn't work out with the professor. He's married now. All these people, I swear to God, people date me and then the next person they date, they get married. So the professor followed this pattern. This is going to be a rambly video. I'm just going with it. Screw it. Okay, so then I meet another guy. I'm at the grad club, which I like don't even remember, and I'm watching a blues band. Like, half of these memories, I'm like, what are you even talking about? I talk a lot about going to Phil's when I'm back in Kitchener, and in one entry, I am talking about how I was so happy they played my favorite Swollen Member song. When did I like Swollen Members? Who is this person? It's so embarrassing. Oh my god, sorry, cringy. So I meet this guy who's playing in the blues, he's playing double bass in the blues band at the grad club, and we get to talking. My roommates invite him to our apartment after, and he's really fun to talk to. He's really cool, he's really sincere, he seems really sweet. We end up dating. And it trails off. The biracial guy, I guess, just kind of trailed off. I still am mentioning him, but there was no formal goodbye. I don't know. It doesn't matter. We were friends for years. I still miss him to this day. And yeah, so I'm dating the double bass dude. We talk for hours. It's really fun. We go see Chaos and Cardinal Official because they came to London. So that was a thing. And I'm smitten, and he's smitten, and my journal entries are so cringe. Like, I describe his hair as, this is so brutal, as like Spanish moss and like little pumpkin coils and stuff like that. It is so brutal to read these journals. And my birthday comes up and I have a party in London, and this is like, I apologize to the world for being such a jerk, but I invite biracial and double bass to my birthday party. Why would I do that? That's just like a crazy, horrible thing to do. And then meanwhile, that birthday, the professor sends me this like pretentious letter because he was living in France at the time, basically vaguely breaking up with me or talking about Temptations or something. I still like, I think I read this letter like 2 years ago, and I'm like, I still don't get it. And at that time, and basically now, I'm still, I have a tendency to be a reactive person, like, which I'm working at, looking at things with wonder and getting all the facts before I react to it. But at the time, I was very reactionary, and I get this weird, vague letter that sounds like a breakup, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm like done with this. And it was odd too, because he sent me all these like a care package with like candies and then this like weird pretentious breakup letter. So that's happening. Dating double bass. Double bass is telling me that he wishes that we could be together forever. This is another thing about like youth that's hilarious, is like the things that you say to each other. Like I mean, I have my embarrassing journal entries where I talk about his curly eyelashes and milky dark eyes. But when I'm with a person, I do not say things that that are surface and shallow. So I don't tend to get swept up in moments where I say those things out loud. I have those thoughts, like, trust me. Like, I have some pretty wackadoodle, like, deep romantic thoughts, but I don't tend to say them to people because you never know. It's a moment, right? Like, I'd rather have something that's more substantial and I really mean it and I can really back it up. But I don't know if this is like something that men tend to do more, but I am reading a lot in my journals that dudes say things to me. So double bass is saying I'm the most beautiful woman he's ever seen, which is ridiculous. Well, thank you. You know what? I'll take that compliment. It's amazing. And he's like, I just want to be with you forever and all this stuff. It's like, dude, we have known each other for 5 minutes. Like, calm down. So yeah, that relationship I think it lasted about 4 months. So fast forward to Christmas time, I go back to Kitchener. I'm hanging out with double bass. He lives at Jane and Finch, not even joking. We get pulled over by the cops. And so that's like, blows my mind for somebody who's only ever lived in the 519. And I also hang out with the professor because he's back from France visiting. And he invites me to dinner with his parents, which again is so cute because that stuff doesn't happen anymore. And it's just, oh, it's so adorable. I love it. But he's such a jerk when I'm there. Like, he's making fun of me, making fun of, like, my exercise routine for some strange reason. And then I'm talking about Tolkien, because at the time I was really into Tolkien. That was when, 2001, that was when, like, the first movie came out, I think. So I was soups into Tolkien and talking about Tolkien all the time, because I was also reading, like, books about Tolkien's, like, his biography and his philosophy. And his philosophies are, like, they're really cool. They're all about, like, you become who you are through your choices. And that's why choice is so important, is because this is where you're building character, and becoming your greatest self, basically. So I'm really into Tolkien. I'm at this dinner, I'm talking about it, and the professor just turns to me and he's just like, "You're so simple." So I always felt he was so pretentious and so condescending, and that just, like, really turned me off. And then he gives me a Christmas gift, which was, like, the writings of Erasmus, I think. So I'm struck with, like, how nice that is and how it speaks to who I am. So he does these really thoughtful things, but then is kind of not treating me very well. And dinner's over and we start rereading the Symposium, because that's what you do. God, I miss that. I miss university. Does anybody want to read the Symposium with me, or anything? Read anything out loud. I would love that, because I've tried to ask this one, but she's too busy with her cat porn videos. And then he invites me to stay over, and I'm like, yeah, that's not a good idea. I'm dating double bass. What am I doing? Like, traipsing around Kitchener, being so out of control. Then I leave. It's so awkward. He stands at the door while I scrape the ice off my parents' car and drive the, like, 5 minutes home to my place in Kitchener. So bizarre. Just so many things going on. And then also in this journal, I'm talking about some other dude who's, like, this philosophy guy that is really interested in me, and I'm interested in him. Like, who are these guys? Like, where did all these dudes come from? It's so nuts to me. Like, in the span of, like, 4 months, I have 4 guys that I'm actually interested in. Kind of like I'm seeing out, or going to the parents' house for dinner and getting insulted. One of them I'm dating. It doesn't seem like I cheated on him. I don't know. I thought in my mind, I swear to God, that I never cheated on anybody. But I feel a little bit loosey-goosey in these entries in terms of, like, dating overlapping and stuff. So just to wrap all this up, double bass doesn't work out. He's just really, like, I don't know. I don't even know what to learn from this one, except I'm a different person than I was in my 20s. But he was very, like, very busy. He was a musician. He had kind of, like, a really creative musician's mind. So he would just be, like, very unreliable. Again, I'm talking about all these guys that say they're going to call and they don't. And he was one of them. And we just started to fight more about him not being unreliable. I don't know. It's just not a match. Like, I'm much more of the librarian personality, intellectual, and he wasn't. Like, he was just very, very free-spirited, very creative, and I tend to like structure and stability, and he was very, like, very free-flowing, which I had a hard time dealing with. So it started to clash, and he just started to get really rude and, like, snappy when I would, you know, like, he'd be like, "Oh, I'll come over at 11." And I'm like, that's really too late for me. And then he'd get mad at me, and I'd be like, well, that's how it is. Like, I'm not mad at you. Like, I get your busy schedule, but I just don't want somebody coming over that late. And he would just get rude, and I couldn't deal with the defensiveness. So that ended. And, like, funny story, he ends up, like, taking one of my, like, best friends, sorry, that sounds so aggressive. He ends up sleeping with, like, this friend of mine. Like, she lost his virginity to him, like, a couple months later too. So I just Oh my God, reading these journals, I'm just so glad my 20s are over and I'm not swept away by people that are like not actually anything. But I also like I'm seeing all of this with a lot more compassion. I tended to make things a little bit more black and white then. Um, I felt a lot of self-blame, but I also just always thought I was too intense to be loved. I was too rigid to be loved. I just thought maybe my needs are like absolutely unrealistic. Um, or I blamed the guy and thought like, wow, they're just such a jerk and they're so mean. But it's never that way, and I'm just really seeing clearly in these journals that, and especially at this time, like you don't understand what's going on. Uh, Everybody's just operating from their wounds, right? And like you have no idea where people are coming from, what they've experienced, and what triggers them. Hey, that okay? Can we not do that, please? Um, and I was operating out of my wounds, and I don't think I fully realized that other people were operating out of their wounds. I just thought like they get it and I don't. So it's been refreshing in that sense to look back and just see that like we were all like an absolute mess and nobody had any idea what they were doing. And apparently I like Swollen Members. I don't even know what song. Oh, they used to have that terrible one. I vaguely remember like a bunch of bro dudes, a shirtless guy rapping. I don't know. The 90s. Oh no, this was 2001. What's my excuse in 2001 to listen to Swollen Members? Anyways, I'm rambling. Fatty says bye. Sending you so much love and light. Thanks for listening to my rambles.